The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The empty seat. Who was actually just that, an empty chair in your office because you couldn't find someone to fill it. So it just sat there costing you money with all its fancy ergonomic features. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can make it easy to fill that seat with the right candidate. With nearly 60% of businesses finding someone to interview in the first week alone. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from okay to very high. Know your sleep score with Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
This is the Overthrow, powered by Spond and brought to you by the Premier League Cricket Club. So, welcome everybody to the Overthrow, once again powered by Spond, and it's that time of year. Hugh, we're back. We've actually got proper cricket coming this weekend, mate. How much are we looking forward to that?
I've already been watching plenty of cricket. I feel like summer's here. It's gorgeous outside. I've been down and watching Derbyshire for a bit. It was freezing last week, but very, very excited. I was just talking about it with my good lady wife. It's like winter finished incredibly quickly, and summer has arrived. It's almost like a switch has switched. Fantastic.
It's literally, we don't have spring anymore, do we? We just sort of go straight. Yeah. There's no spring cricket. It's just summer cricket. Here we go. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm just outside. We're about 20 degrees outside. That's it. That's me set. I'm not putting any trousers on for the rest of the summer.
Absolutely. Although, if you were at Derbyshire, you may have seen one or two of the Worcester lads with snoods and all kinds on.
Not surprised.
It was a bit cold, to say the least, wasn't it? Definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, we're back, guys, and over the next few weeks, we're going to be up and running with the Premier League Cricket Show to talk all things Premier League. However, there's something bigger than Premier League cricket out there, which we are absolutely in adoration of. And it's the ECB National Club Championship, which, just like the FA Cup, gets started this weekend before the Premier Leagues even start. And we start with preliminary round 1. There is quite a lot of games, 34 of them up and down the country. Just to give you some of the examples for those who are listening, Seaham Harbour travelling all the way down to Beverley Town, 2.5 hours drive. Workington driving all the way to Fowl Ridge, 2.5 hours drive. It's only the National Club Championship, Hugh.
Well, it's commitment is what it is. It's commitment in a nutshell. Madness to some others. There's a few, obviously, there's some big clubs appear sometimes, at this stage, but generally they pop up a little bit down the road. But there's new clubs coming in, clubs that are chancing their arms. So it's, for some clubs, it's a lovely early season competitive game of cricket, and that's all it is, because they probably just don't quite have the resources to kick on. But doesn't good for them if they do kick on. But yeah, for others, it's potentially it starts on the what are we on the 12th of April, and it ends at Wormsley in hopefully glorious sunshine in September.
We're recording this now, and it's approximately 200 days since we were at Lord's for the final last year. And what we're going to do in this episode, me and Hugh aren't going to do that much talking, because we've got Gary Knight, last year's winning skipper, is going to tell us what it meant to Ormskirk winning the National Club Championship. We've got Aaron West, who won at Worcester the year before for Brentwood. He's going to tell us what it meant to Brentwood winning. And we've also got Hash, the captain at Duffield, in the Derbyshire Premier League for the first time, who's going to talk to us about, very briefly, what it's like to enter the Nationals and actually try to get further in the league, when they were a Div 1 club last year and they're trying to move forward. So we're going to hear from them through this episode. But I'm going to be at Duffield on Sunday myself, Hugh. The chances are that I'll probably have to put too many jumpers on anyway, because it's not going to be 20 degrees when we go there. But looking back to Lord's last year, what does the National Club Championship mean to us now?
I think it's that connection with history, I suppose, and I think Premier League and amateur cricket can fall short of the sort of that connection with the professional game, but the club championship certainly bridges that, and the ECB seem to value it. Which can't always be said of certain things, but yeah, it seems to be a valuable competition for them, and a really good way of linking in the community. And what we've seen, I think, is the growth of it over the last few years. How many more clubs have we got entering this year? 265
or 66 this year, so you've got up by another 30 since last year.
Yeah. So it's a growing comp, and it's something that there's eyes are on it, and maybe it's that performances in this competition could lead on to greater things for a few players.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think some clubs will treat it at the very start as almost their pre-season, because it is before any league games. For some of the southern clubs who are playing in the prelim, it's 2 or 3 weeks before they start their actual league in the first place.
But then big change.
We all know that it can get a bit more exciting as they get through it, and all of a sudden they've got those nice long trips on the bus. I mean, we joke about the 2 hours, 2.5 hour drive, but that's what it's all about, testing themselves against other leagues, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's a few games popping up. New Farnley potentially playing. Am I correct here? Hoylandswain or Tickhill? Is that correct? So Hoylandswain are the powerhouse of the Huddersfield League. New Farnley, the powerhouse of the Bradford League.
Yeah,
that could be a gigantic game in round one. If obviously Tickhill are a very, very good side as well.
Yeah.
So that's not, it's certainly not going to be a walkover for Hoylandswain, particularly early in the season. So yeah, that's a real game to look out for straight away.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that's the key, isn't it? That once you get past prelim round 1, prelim round 2, and into that first round proper, let's be blunt about it. The big boys come in. It's just like the FA Cup. You all of a sudden you could have South North could end up playing Bradford and Bingley, and if they get through, they could end up playing Woodhouse Grange or Richmondshire in the next round. If you go down,
it gets south, serious quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, you go down south to the Midlands, where you've got in Group 8 this year. If Didsbury get themselves all the way through, they could go up against Nolan Dorridge semi-finalists from last year, and you start to then see. Let's be honest, the cream of the crop from all the Premier Leagues getting there. Now, Golden Hill got quite a long way last year. I think they got to the round of 32, maybe even the last 16, I can't remember rightly. So you can get clubs who are not Premier League going all the way. But actually, once you get to that last 4, last 8, it's bloody competitive, isn't it?
Yeah. And so just jumping through a few ties here. Exmouth, Wadebridge. Prelim 2, yeah. Exmouth Wadebridge and Prelim 2. That's a bit of a spicy one down there. Prestwich Rainford in Prelim 2 as well. Cockney, who always seem to end up playing Spond. That's in a week or so's time.
Yeah,
Cockney have pretty much got the wood over Spond, but maybe this is the year for Spond to get it done over Cockney. So yeah, there's some great ties just jumping out already, and I just remember from last year just how quickly it was big boy against big boy, but even at this stage.
Yeah, exactly. I think of the 265, 66 clubs that are in it, I think approximately 200 are Premier League clubs. I did do the stats. I could look back at them. I haven't got them in front of me. But it's, 80% are Premier League clubs. We do know that there is a bit of a, shall we call it, a dichotomy for the southern clubs, because a lot of the southern clubs might have players who are playing NCCA cricket on a Sunday. So do they get them through the rounds? But look what Penzance did last year. That's a Cornwall club. They play NCCA. They managed to get themselves all the way to the final. So it's a balancing act for some clubs, isn't it?
Yeah. Just jumping down a few more names here. Obviously, there's the Duffield game, West Bridgefordians, Sleaford, Chesterfield. That's Lincolnshire versus Derbyshire. In the north, Keswick, Goulburn. It's interesting. That's at Keswick just this weekend coming. Whitchurch, Stourbridge as well. Then further down, Chipping Sodbury versus Hatherley and Readings. Chipping Sodbury, are they in Whipple 2?
Yeah.
Whipple 2, so that's not a non-Premier League club. Hatherley and Readings, they're not a Premier League club either. So is that a non-Premier League game?
It is. Yeah,
is that one of the few non-Premier League games? That'd be an interesting one to see who they end up popping up against. So yeah, there's Roehampton versus Highfield, Sherwood versus Upchurch, and Rustington versus Crawley as well down in the Group 16. So, yeah, there's plenty going on.
There is, and it's all kicks off this Sunday. So before we talk any more about what's going on in the draw, let's hear from Gary Knight, last year's winner of the 2025 ECB National Club Championship. And I asked him one simple question, which you'll hear, which is, what did it mean to Ormskirk? Because we were there, and when you hear from Gary, you'll get some memories coming back here, Hugh.
Absolutely.
So with Gary Knight now, the 2025 ECB National Club Championship winning captain. And would you believe, as we record this, Gary, there is 200 plus days since we were at Lords. Have you got over it yet?
Not really. It still sounds nice. It still sounds nice, that title. Yeah, again, it's still quite fresh in terms of just having a random day at work, random day at the weekend, and then it pops into your mind of that special experience that we all had 20th of September. So some days it just lightens people's days for sure.
Absolutely. 20th of September 2025. That sounds as though one or two of the lads might have that tattooed on them by the likes of it.
Yeah, a couple of us. I still owe Sam Holden, actually. I agreed with Sam Holden before the game that if we won, I'd get a tattoo with him. He's got his. I still need to get mine, actually. So
there's an
we'll see how that comes around.
Sam's had his and he's left.
No, I know, to be fair, but obviously Sam going back to Prestwich, it's more of a family decision than wanting to leave and things. So he's doing loads of commuting at work, and it just wouldn't be feasible. So leaves with our best intentions.
Going back to Lords, what did it mean for the club to win that? You guys had been trying for a while to get there, hadn't you?
Yeah, we just sort of almost got there a couple of times. Lost to Nantwich a couple of times in the semi-finals. Always had that away semi, which we felt this year, sort of looking ahead when we got through to the last 16 when we beat Northern. We're sort of thinking, that home semi-final could be massive. And it turned out to be that. That's the only reason why we beat Nolan Dorridge in that semi-final, I think. Nolan Dorridge are a really, really strong side. Home advantage probably just got us over the line, just knowing what score was, knowing where to score, and what times to go harder at certain times. So, 2017 was incredible when we got to the final at Essex, but there was something there that we were obviously playing Wanstead, who are really strong, but it was like 10 minutes down the road for them, whereas it's almost an away game for us. So we felt like a little bit shortchanged when we got there in 2017. I know Northern felt like that in 2014, 15, or 13, 14 when they played Kent, a Kent League side in Kent, and travelled all the way down there. So felt like Lords was a real equaliser. Just have it at Lords and have that day out. I would still stand by that the day before was even more special. When we had the training day, I was expecting us just to be an hour and a half, 2 hours, just having a net on the nursery ground, which was incredible in itself. And then when Panzans took over, the staff on the door were just like, just pop into the pavilion like it was nothing. Just chuck your bags upstairs, get yourself used to the place. And we stayed there for a few more hours, and it was just incredible. I can only, I've told this to my non-cricketing friends and family. It can only describe it as like being given the keys to the Vatican and just walk around wherever you want, lads. Shorts and Ormskirk training tops, and just walking around the outfield, etc. So it's a very surreal place to be.
And I think that's how it felt for us from the outside. And it was like a bunch of mates, Ormskirk Cricket Club mates. You'd just been allowed to use it as your inverted commas home ground, and the Penzance lads have been allowed to use it themselves as their home ground. And I mean, both of you have had a bloody long drive to get there, and that made the whole weekend and the whole feel of it far better, basically.
Yeah, exactly, and it just made an even more special experience even more special because you only get there. I always go on about our lads. You only get there by winning the early rounds. You only get there by rocking up to pre-season friendlies like we've started this week. Going out in the freezing cold, catching 100 catches every day and things like that, and just doing all the little basics. Certainly not all about collecting trophies at Lords, but just to have that special experience as amateur cricketers I know obviously there's quite a few of us, both Ormskirk and Penzance, who played second 11 cricket, and a couple who played one stuff, but certainly not. I think George has played there a couple of times, and Toby for the unicorns and stuff, but it certainly wasn't a regular thing for them either. So yeah, just to have that to top off an incredible year anyway, winning the league as well. I thought that was perfect ending really, 2025.
Absolutely, and obviously you've been very successful over the last few years when it comes to the comp, when it comes to the Lancashire Cup. You've done some great stuff over the last few years. This one topped it off by X amount, didn't it? Yeah,
I just love our consistency really. I think it's fully deserved for how consistent, so much work has gone in by a lot of volunteers and players over the last probably 15 years at the club really. Ian Robinson sort of started that off when he was captain, fed into the Matty Glazer being captain, and got into that final in 2017. And I think we've just always built year on year, having some challenges in terms of sort of getting our lads through, like the Michael Joneses, Labelles, Hartleys, then Josh Bohannon, and then losing them, having to sort of build that squad back up again, but having that strong core. And over the last 3 years with Sam Holden, Callum Turner and Toby added to that strong core, I think we really ticked over into a national winning place. Probably we're disappointed the last couple of years to lose to Northern at big stages of the competition, but to get one over on them and have a little bit of luck at South North and then have that home semi-final. I think we've beaten a lot of strong sides there to get there. We've had luck at times, but we've certainly not had an easy draw to get us there, and I think we fully deserved it last year.
Absolutely. You're looking forward to 2026. As a captain, do you build your squad now around A, winning the comp, or B, do you just want to go back to back with nationals? Because they're two completely different competitions at the end of the day, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't think I never plan to win cups. I don't think you can, because like I said, we had a cup. You've got to go away to places like South North. You can't plan to just go up and rock and roll. It's all about setting those standards early and just making sure that you've got a team that are ready to respond when you get knocked back, when you lose a couple of quick wickets, when you go for a big over and you're down and out a little bit. So it's just giving that resilience to your squad, really. We always go into every league season trying to challenge at the top and trying to get on a run and try and win the league, because that's our bread and butter sort of thing. I've been really successful over the last 3 years, obviously winning 3 in a row. The national is special as well as the Lancs. But it's more of a case of, in those individual games, are we setting the standards that we know we're capable of, rather than being so desperate to... I think you become overly desperate if you go into league seasons or seasons thinking you need to win the national. I think you become a bit too desperate for it. It's sure you need to enjoy every win, I think.
And I think one of the things I find most fascinating with Northern getting to the final the year before, with you guys winning it last year, is it is such a different game that you guys have to play in the Liverpool Premier League compared to anybody else in the country, because you guys are timed cricket 22 weeks of a season and then switching to 40 overs on a Sunday. No one else has to do that, do they?
Yeah, I think with us and Northern, I think have struggled with that over the last few years. I think Northern have been an incredible cup side as well. But I think even Coley would admit they've sort of let the foot off the gas in the league at times, because it's that draining. I think pushing for 10 wickets on a Saturday is so... You don't need to be so intense, take every chance, that when you come to your cup cricket, you then have to fire back up again on a Sunday morning. So we've managed to balance that with a little bit of availability issues, which has been to keep people fresh, whereas Northern have sort of put all their energy into that cup cricket and got their awards probably 2 years ago. And won a couple of trophies. I think they won the Lancs last year as well. I do love our league cricket, and I do think it should remain, but it's very, very demanding and intense to get those 10 wickets. You can't just smash 350 and have someone 120 for 7 and win. You need to take all those 10 wickets every week, and demanding those overs on especially seamers are very demanding at times.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, looking forward to this year's Cup, 26th of April. there'll be a game I'm pretty sure you're watching very, very closely. You guys have got to buy, as you should have. You don't join us until the first round proper, and you've got a home game against West Horton, or what would be effectively your home club at Longridge.
Yeah.
You already got that in the diary. You're going to be over at West Horton on that day.
No, it's going to be a really good game. That actually, Longridge West Horton. I think there's two really well matched teams. Been doing a bit of coaching with Longridge actually all winter with them, so they've got a really strong squad again. Having got Matt de Villiers back over, which is a really good, strong overseas signing again. So yeah, either way, really, I do hope it's Longridge because I do love that competitive tussle. We sort of owe them one from the Lancashire knockout defeat in 2022. So it'd be nice to bring them to Brook Lane and give them a battering.
And if you do give them a battering and you do get through that, I find it fascinating that you could end up, if they get on a run, at home to Liverpool, who are first time into the Premier League this year. And one of your players who was in the final last year, Harvey Rankins, left to go and play there, hasn't he? I mean, the draw is almost one of those ones that sort of, football folks would be looking to go, this is just fabulous stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, like I said, it's the games you want to play, and I certainly want to play against Longridge, and a few of the lads do as well, and then play Liverpool as well with all three Rankins now, Ormskirk lads. So yeah, it's a huge competition and sort of big games that you want to play in. You don't really want, like smaller games to just get through rounds. Okay, fine, but yeah, certainly not looking down at any of those big games thinking we wouldn't want it. Looking forward to both of them, to be honest.
Yeah, and let's be honest, this tournament is getting tougher by the year. 265 clubs in it this year. We're to blame, we're told, for advertising it far too much, that it's become actually bigger and bigger. Hey, great, because it's the single biggest competition for any club to win, isn't it? Somewhere down the line, you could come up against Northern, but you could also come up against the T20 national champions who've entered for the first time ever at Newfoundland.
Yeah, exactly. I do love the national stages when you do get through your group. Annoyingly, we usually do bump into Northern. It's one of the two of us. But yeah, I love away trips. Like make it so that South North trip was so special last year. Just a couple of years ago, we had a really good trip to Woodlands, and it just creates that memories on the bus on the way back and things when you get really good wins away from home, or even when you don't win away from home. You're sort of playing in a new league and seeing how other clubs go about it and what they're used to. I think it was one of our strongest wins that year against Woodlands because we sort of went away, scrapped to a score. They were walking off thinking that's not a score in our league, but we managed to just about hold them to it. And yeah, there's definitely that sense of taking on different leagues, which is I always love about the cup cricket.
Yeah, it's our favourite thing this year, but full stop. I'll be at a game almost every single one of the rounds all the way through the national championship. Being able to see the competitiveness across the leagues is great. It's great to see when you see someone like George Police who's left you guys to go and play in the home counties. We love to be able to compare how they get on, but the true comparison is, as you say, league versus league, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. That's why 40 over cricket is good, because you can sort of compare straight away on what their game plans are and how people go about it and things. I think you need 5 bowlers and you need a sixth option. You need 7 batters to scrap you to a score. You can't just, as we saw in the final, you can't just depend on the top 3, top 4. You need a full squad to scrap you to a score, and you need 4th, 5th, 6th bowler to hopefully try and get 3 or 4 wickets to put pressure on teams. So
absolutely.
I think overall the best team wins the comp, which which is the same in the Liverpool comp as well. I think the best team wins the league. Yeah. And I think that needs to be said rather than just the best batting team or the best bowling team. Yeah,
most definitely. So come on then, let's finally look back at last year again. One memory from last year. What's the standout memory besides Lords potentially? I know South North's a big one for you, that home win against Nolan Dorridge. What if you had to look back and say that standout memory, one ball even it might be, from the 2025 win?
A personal memory. I'll be a bit selfish first. My personal memory is walking through the long room in an Ormskirk blazer for the toss. I think that was always the thing I looked at, which will stay with me for my life. In terms of getting there, I think the Row Green game, which you had the pleasure of coming down to watch, I think a lot of our members, especially, and a lot of our fans were like, "Oh, team's got 240 against us, or 230, I think it was." And a lot of people walked off that ground at half time thinking, are we going to see us get beat at home here? And then to win by 9 wickets, I just thought that really rubber stamped our credentials in terms of we can actually go away. Our mindset is good enough to really attack teams, even when we do concede more than we probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's more than one, frankly.
Yeah.
South North was an incredible win, incredible experience against a really experienced side. Take nothing away from going up there and beating South North on their own patch. And then Noel and Dorridge were 4 genuine quicks for club cricket, a batting lineup of 7-8 deep, most of them played county cricket. Just having that home advantage really helped that game.
Absolutely. You tell that story there all together, you put it all in a couple of sentences, and it sounds like such an epic journey all the way to Lords on that final day, doesn't it?
Yeah, not forgetting we beat Northern in the last 16, which there's a video knocking around of Tom Brown hitting the winning runs, and I've thrown my bat up in the air in celebration, just knowing how big it was, beating them at home. So I just think every step of the way, we had Leyland in the first round, who again, a really good young up and coming side. They had he wasn't allowed to play, unfortunately, Luke Hans, who's just broken into England 19, so that shows what they're capable of. So we had a really tough run, but at the same time we sort of just developed and really peaked at the right times.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it? You're a couple of days away now from the start of the season, but more importantly, you still got to wait till Sunday the 10th of May before you actually walk out onto a pitch as national champions coming out to defend their title.
We'll be walking out onto every pitch as national champions. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, everyone will be looking to take you down a peg, as they say. That's what happens now, isn't it? But yeah. It was a great day in September, and fabulous memories for everyone at Ormskirk, fabulous memories for us. And I'll go back to that Roguery game. I remember what my dad said to me in the car on the way home that day. He went, they'll go all the way. There was something there that day, and it just sometimes these things go your way, don't they? Yeah,
definitely. And it's my job now just to be a pest to all the lads again and just get them up to them standards again, and hopefully and see where we end up, see if we can do it, see if we can get deep again, and see if we can set a stand in the league again, and have a good summer.
Absolutely. We'll be watching, mate.
Cheers, mate.
That was Gary Knight then from Ormskirk, and I think it's incredible to hear him talk about that last year, Hugh. And I thought his number one personal memory being the fact that he wore the Ormskirk blazer walking through the long room to do the toss. I mean, even stood on the pitch as we were, watching him and Brad Wadland from Penzance to come out and do that. There was only 800,000 people there, but still spine-tingling, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And I think just the way they managed it, the way they gave us access, thank you very much to Lords, and just made it feel like a real occasion for everybody that was there. And it really, really was. And then you just have to look at the footage, hop on our numerous feeds if you want to scroll back through, and you'll find the footage of last year's game and the year before at Worcester as well, of how much it means to all sides, winners and losers, and how much beer was drunk as well.
I think that's the case at every one of these finals, that once one of these clubs gets to it, all of a sudden the fans and the members and the players, the families, all of a sudden realize, hang on, this is bigger than a normal game that we, week in, week out, there might be 50 around the ground. Then all of a sudden the crowds grow all the way through the rounds, don't they?
Yeah, and it's that, you mentioned their families, isn't it? It's all about the families, of what it means to everybody that plays cricket, but it's the connections, the grandparents, the parents, the daughters, the cousins, the uncles, the aunties, they're there, aren't they? Because this is a huge occasion, particularly, who gets to play at Lords? I've never got to play at Lords, and I never will. But I'm just pleased to be there, to be able to walk the hallowed turf.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I find really fascinating is it's not just the clubs who are involved who go along and watch. And the boys from Hornchurch who were there at Lords last year, Gav Griffiths is an ex-Ormskirk player, but they were as thrilled to watch his ex-teammates and ex-club, because it is the biggest final. It is, with the utmost respect to the Village Cup, this is the pinnacle.
The Village Cup is a bit village, isn't it?
Can't say more than that. But I can't say anything other than sorry, Gav. We've got to talk to one of your biggest competitors now. And let's hear from Aaron West from Brentwood all about what it meant for them to win back at Worcester in 2024. So with Aaron West from Brentwood, how are we doing, Westy? It's now 18 months since we were at Worcester. Seems like yesterday, mate, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. Yeah, with the weather we've got out today, it feels like cricket season again now. So yeah, really excited for the season. And going back to that game, as you say, it literally feels like it just happened, but there's actually been a season in between it.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a full season. We've already spoken to Gary Knight from Ormskirk, who won it last year. But I've got to throw one stat at you straight away. And I'm guessing you may or may not know this, but you are the #1 run scorer on play cricket of all time for the National Club Championship. It's not a bad place to be to show the success that you and the club have had, is it?
I actually didn't know that at all. So yeah, that's quite nice. And yeah, hopefully I can go again this year and keep scoring runs to help the team and put us further in the competition as it goes.
Well, it's some great names on there when you look at the top run scorers with yourself, Nasir Ahmed, Duncan Snell up at York. Knighty himself's in 5th place. He's been going at it for quite a while now. And when you see Joe Gattin down in 9th for Swaderston, that says a hell of a lot about some proper names from club cricket there and some top end guys who've won this before, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, look, I don't play the game to be the leading run scorer. I want to get as many as possible to help Brentwood to try and reach finals and hopefully win trophies. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do again this year.
Absolutely. And if you go back to the 15th of September 2024, that's exactly what you did. Yeah, just tell us for that club of yours, and yeah, your dad's bound to get a mention at some point here, isn't he? What did that mean to Brentwood to go up to Worcester in front of a packed pavilion? No two ways about it. What did that mean to Brentwood to be national champions?
I think, as you say, we've always taken the national quite seriously. It's always been a big ambition to try and win it. To be honest, I didn't quite think we would ever do it, but we have. And I think it's just testament to the team we had. I think if you look at that starting 11, I think 6 or 7 have been playing in that team for over a decade, and probably the whole 11 at least 5 years together. So yeah, it's probably the hard work that everyone's put in over a long period of time, and we finally got the success that we deserve. Hopefully, some people will say.
Absolutely. I mean, we go back to that game and the scorecard, you guys winning by 9 wickets makes it look like walkover. But it wasn't that way, was it? Northern got to their score of 178 off 40 overs. It was a bit of a battle, and Tyler McGladry obviously did what Tyler did to get them up there. But that wicket wasn't one that you could just walk out and slap around and get to that score, was it?
No, I think that's actually why I bowled first, because it had been used in the county championship before, and I don't know, we were a bit unsure what it was going to do, so it just gave us a chance to have a look at the wicket. They were obviously a team who looked to come out hard, and we knew we had Ben Allison open the bowling and a good bowling attack, so we just felt that we could put them under pressure from the top, and that's what happened. We got a few early wickets, and then they were sort of always chasing. But yeah, they had a real big flurry towards the end to get them to a competitive score. Bit of a momentum swinger potentially. But yeah, we come out, we started well, lost the wicket, and then we just set ourselves to bat as long as possible. Sort of took the run rate out of it, just to set it up, and thankfully we were able to do that.
Absolutely. I think you're right there. Tyler batted all the way through the innings from having come in at number 3 for Northern. When Ben Edmondson came in at the end, as you say, it was a flurry, and there was a definite difference in the atmosphere, wasn't there, from you guys had kept them down to a score that you thought was going to be 140, 150 at one point, and then all of a sudden, coming off, the Northern fans were up for it, and the noises started coming back from that end. I think Eddie Ballard did that job for you, though. He did the Ben Edmondson job almost, didn't he? He went out and he slapped it round straight away.
Yeah, I think, look, if someone had offered us a 178, I think it was at the start, we would have bit your hand off for that. So I think deep down we knew we were happy with that score, but as you say, it was the little momentum swing at the end that can cause some pressure. And if we had lost early wickets, then it becomes a completely different task.
Absolutely. And I think, Eddie came out, scored some runs very quickly, hit some fours. You got it into a nice start, but it was when you and Will came together then after Eddie had gone. It was a bit of a battle of attrition for 5, 10, 15 overs, wasn't it, to start with?
Yeah, I think look, that's what Eddie's role is for our team. I love batting with him because he likes to score quickly, he takes the pressure off. So yeah, then that just allows me to bat and bat to the situation that's needed. But yeah, me and Will then just, as I say, took the scorecard away and just looked to bat till the 20 overs. Then we were going to reassess at drinks and see where we were. Yeah. Thankfully, we were in a good position. And then, as it went on, the pressure came off and we were just able to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, it was only really that last 3 or 4 overs. You won with 3.5 overs to spare, but that last 3 or 4 overs where you just started to go up through the gears, didn't it?
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, as I said to you, we always knew there was a few short boundaries. So with wickets in hand, we felt towards the end we could always score quicker if needed to.
Yeah, most definitely. I think one of the keys for us when it comes to the National Club Championship, though, is what it means to everybody, obviously. And like you say, I mean, that squad's been together a long time. There's a lot of players in the Brentwood side who plays twos and a little bit of county cricket here, and they played top quality cricket. But it meant a lot to every single one of them, didn't it?
Yeah, it literally was the pinnacle. It's the pinnacle of club cricket in my eyes. I think if you speak to a lot of clubs, their ambition you always want to win the league, but just to tick that box and win it once, I don't think we'll ever forget that.
Absolutely. And I think one of the people in particular who I was struck by on the day was Ben Allison himself, who he'd had a bit of an in and out season that year for Worcester, hadn't he? He wasn't a regular in the side, but he turned up for you guys on a Sunday, played in the National Club Championship, and he was bloody sharp on that day, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think when after the game we were in the pavilion having a beer, and I think a lot of our supporters and stuff like that were saying, "Oh, to Ben, it's really sad that this is going to be your last game. You're moving to Worcester," and he was a bit like perplexed by it all. Like he was like, "No, I'm still going to stay at Brentwood." But obviously his availability is just going to be a lot less. But yeah, it just shows how much he really enjoys playing for Brentwood, playing with his mates. And I guess when you're a pro cricketer, so much of cricket is serious, and you have to perform. You're paid to perform. So yeah, I guess maybe he's able just to come to Brentwood and relax and play with his friends and just enjoy being there.
Absolutely. And was it a coincidence that from that result he became far more of a regular in the Worcester side last year, and he seems to be sort of ensconced in there now, doesn't he?
Yeah, look, Ben's a good cricketer, 3-dimensional. He's a class bowler. His consistency is unreal. I think people underrate his batting. He's a very good batter, and a high class fielder. So yeah, I think in any format for any team, he can just bring real quality.
Absolutely. And obviously it would be remiss of me not to mention the one player who wasn't there on the day, who had helped to get you to the final, but he watched all the way back in Tassie, our friend Jordan Silk.
Yeah, what a guy. We're still in contact with him now. It was amazing to see someone of that quality and has played that many professional games, how much it meant to him. I think people might have seen online the celebration of the semi-final. So it was just credit to him how much he enjoyed his time at the club and how much it meant to him. And as I said to him at the start of the year, we always knew he could never play the final. I always said to him, look, get us there and we'll win it. So he kept his part and we kept ours. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, one of the biggest shocks of my bloody life when I get a text message from Jordan Silk telling me he's just heard me on commentary. You're like, hang on a minute, he's up all night watching this thing, because people do care about this game. And, last year I watched Ormskirk in I think it was the second round, and Tom Hartley turns out for them to play against Roe Green. Couldn't play in the final because he was playing for Lancashire, unfortunately. These pros, it means something to them still.
Yeah, it's great that they want to be involved and win for their clubs. I think that we all started in club cricket, so it's good that they have that feeling towards it. And as club players, it's great to play against them players and the quality. And yeah, I get excited when a pro turns up for another club, and I just want to do the best I can against them and just test yourself. So yeah, it's great. It's great when they play.
And I think it also proves, Aaron, that there isn't that big a gap, is there? The Premier League and the very top of it to first class, there's a gap, yes, because if you put 11 of them on a pitch versus 11 Premier League players, but actually, it's not as big as people think, is it?
I don't know. I'd almost go the opposite. I think the gap is big. Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of talented players in club cricket, but these guys are another level, and I think it's just the amount of balls they hit every week, the amount of practice they do. It just makes the gap bigger. But yeah, look, everyone can have their day and everyone can perform against them. Yeah, and it's a great challenge when you can.
I always put it down to one word. It's depth. You put 11 of them on a pitch who are, as you say, hitting balls, bowling balls day in, day out versus 11 of you guys who've got a day job and then get to train twice a week. You're bound to see a difference, aren't you? If there was a level playing field, might be a different match altogether.
Yeah, who knows? Unfortunately, we'll never see that position. But yeah, look, these guys they're all class players. So yeah,
absolutely. Just tell us what it meant to the club itself. Going back to the club the next day, your dad was an absolute bloody mess on the pitch afterwards. There's no two ways about it, was it? He's the heartbeat of the club.
Yeah, I think like people like my dad, the chairman, Paul Webb, his dad, who's the president, Malcolm, Les Wingrove. I think these people are the unsung heroes of any club. It's not just Brentwood, any club that they put in so much time and effort through kids cricket, the ground, anything that's needed to be done at the club, and they're the sort of days they deserve to receive once in a while. I think that means everything. All they want to see is us do well and bring a trophy back to Brentwood. So and that goes to any club, I'm sure.
And I go further than that. Say, look at all those supporters who travelled up from Brentwood. It was an early day. Driving up there. It's not the easiest drive to come around the M25 and all the way up there, obviously. Yeah. But both your fans and the northern fans made enough bloody noise for probably more noise than was to see most of the time, I think, to be frank.
Yeah, it was a strange one. Obviously, not being at Lords, everyone's like, we'd all love to play at Lords, but it was such a good experience actually coming to Worcester. I felt like we got looked after really well. We stayed in the hotel for 2 nights, and it felt like an away day. It was just a great experience. Look, hopefully we get to play at Lords again one day. Who knows? I'm not sure where the final is this year. You might know more than me.
It's at Wormsley on Sunday, the 13th of September. It's unfortunate it's not at Lords. But if you want to find the most beautiful ground in the country, Wormsley's up there, to say the least.
It is a great venue.
Yeah, a few southern boys are a little bit more local as well, to say the least, definitely. So, but looking forward to this year's competition. You guys, you're in a preliminary round now. You won it 18 months ago. You've been dropped back now. You're in preliminary round 2, and you've got to wait to see who wins between Winchmore Hill and Ramsey, who are the newly promoted into the East Anglia Premier League.
Yeah, I saw. I don't know too much about either club, but I saw who the team who won the East Anglian Prem. Is it not Swarsden? The other one who sounds like Swarsden. I think their old captain and a couple of them boys maybe have gone there as well. So look, they're going to have some quality players. Again, I don't know much about Winchmore Hill, but I'm sure they're going to be a good side as well. I think it caught us out a bit. A few boys, because our season starts later, sort of booked a pre-season holiday, and then the draw come out and they're a bit surprised. I think a few people scrambling to see if they could change stuff. So we might be a few down. We'll be looking forward to that game, and hopefully the weather's good that early in the season.
And I think what's key in your group 14, is there's a bit of a monster clash potentially if you get through that, when you could play another team who've won at Gordeston. That's a proper National Club Championship game, isn't it?
Yeah, we've played them a few times in this competition, and they're a proper side. I think Bishop Stortford are looking very strong this year, who are playing them. We're in the same group as Wanstead further down the line. So there's some big teams now. We kind of feel like we've got the group of death, but we came out at the top of the draw, so we've got a complete home run. So I think you can always try and use that to your advantage. Never a given, but look, to win it, you've got to beat good teams. I think the year we won it, we beat 3 or 4 previous winners. So we'll just have to take that challenge again.
I think that's the key. There's 265, 266 teams in this year, of which 200 are Premier League clubs. So you're playing against the best of the best in the country anyway. And once you get into that round one and past those little preliminaries, it's just all Premier League apart from the odd one or two that have popped through, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, even these preliminary rounds, there's going to be teams there who are going for an upset, and there will be some. So we just got to make sure it's not us, and we put ourselves in the next round for either Bishop Stortford or Swardston.
Absolutely. Hey, great catching up, Aaron. It just literally does seem like yesterday. Hugh and I go on about the fact that Worcester looked after us immensely. Joe Tromans and Ashley and the boys all did brilliant looking after everyone there. Lords was a different, obviously, level last year with Ormskirk, but we're quite happy to go back to Worcester this year for the T20 national final because they looked after us so well. And fingers crossed we might see you at one of them because you'll be competing at both, won't you?
Yeah, well, that's the one trophy as a club we've never won. So, hopefully that we can tick that one off and we would have won the whole set then.
Absolutely, mate. Hey, have a great year, have a great season, and look forward to catching up sometime during it.
You too. See you soon.
Westy, brilliant time. He had that was a cracking innings that we watched Westy have with Mr. Buttleman at Worcester. God, can you think that's 18 months ago now? It still feels like yesterday being on the outfield at Worcester, running around like lunatics, taking video, filming, taking photographs. The celebrations in that pavilion at the end of that, when you ran up the steps behind the players, Hugh, some of the best stuff that we've done there, mate.
Yeah, well, just it's all instinctive, and the crowd reaction, from both days was instinctive, and and the players like Will Bottom and Aaron West, players with serious cricketing credentials. It means as much as anything else, doesn't it? It means more than professional games of cricket. It means everything. But yeah, that was a real battle that day. A real battle. I think the scoreline probably showed that Brentwood actually had much better of the day, but it wasn't like that if you were there. It really wasn't, and it tipped it down about a minute after it finished as well, which was nice.
Yeah, and you talk about what it means to people. That was the classic day. We watched Ben Allison, Worcester professional, coming running in for Brentwood like it was just a normal one-day cup. But then look who was watching the whole game overnight from Tasmania. Mr. Jordan Silk had got them to the final with an incredible innings in the semi-final that year, and there's Silky watching the game all the way from Australia on WhatsApp to the boys afterwards, and just proving that it does mean more, doesn't it?
Yeah. And having Ben Allison chop it in, Worcestershire Pro showed you the importance of the event and the fact that he was being allowed to play was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and made the difference.
Yeah, it did make a difference. I think one of the things that's interesting to me is it doesn't matter how many Premier League games we talk about, doesn't matter how many Premier League games we look at on video. The memories from Lords last year, the memories from Worcester the year before for us, they're embedded there now, aren't they? Because these were proper big games, proper big crowds, both sets of players battling like nothing else. And I personally believe as good a cricket games as I've seen each year.
Yeah. They're probably the two of the best cricket games I've seen. That one, and we had the 100 Cup final at Derbyshire between Spond and Ormskirk, I think it was, in September. It was as good a cricket match as I saw all last year, probably August time. And the thing with the modern world is we're losing a connection between the sporting professional and the average day punter. It is with the shift in the Premier League and money coming left, right, and centre, and players choppering into different franchises all over the world. That personal connection is going, but it's quite easily found in these kind of games. Whether it's non-league football or whatever, or even low division football, and it's still there at county cricket level, but it has the potential to go. But it's certainly there. ECB Premier League and the National Cup, isn't it? And it doesn't mean that cricket's any worse. It's great.
Absolutely. I think that's the perfect opportunity to talk to Hash at Duffield about what it means to them to, they're a Premier League club this year for the first time, but they make the big step into the National Club Championship and play Westbridge Fordians on Sunday. Fingers crossed the weather's not too bad, and see how they get on there. So Hash, your first game of the season, competitive game, comes this Sunday. Westbridge Fordians, as Duffield give it a go in the National Club Championship. How are you looking forward to that?
Well, we are. We've got a friendly the day before as well, so we're trying to build that team towards the National Cup game. Obviously, we've not been part of the National Cup.
Yeah,
we're definitely looking forward for it, and the ground's looking as good as ever.
It's something, first time in the Premier League for you boys. So, to go into the national comp as well, it's something different, isn't it? The potential, some nice road trips, depending on where you get to.
Yeah, it is. And that's one of our bigger goals this year, to do well in cup games, as well. It'll be nice to see how far we get. Absolutely.
And then, cup. It's a dream for everyone. It's the equivalent to the FA Cup. This one, you're starting before the actual Premier League starts. Have you been able to find out much about Westbridge Fordians before they come over?
Not really. I've seen on the socials the overseas someone I've played against quite a bit.
Okay.
And we've never played against them before, so don't really know much about it. We've got pretty much a full side out, which is nice.
And then, obviously, if you do get through the next couple of rounds, the chances of coming up against Ockbrook or Chesterfield. It's great to see the big boys from the Prem in there, because not every club from every Prem enters. But to play them on a Sunday in a 40-over game versus, for a national championship game, it's far different, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is. It'll be a good challenge. It'll definitely be a good challenge. But it's obviously, at the end of the day, it's going to be on a Sunday, so you're trying to get your strongest team out, and the boys do the work. It's a shorter game. Obviously, it's 40 overs. So I think whoever does well on that day, just get through.
Well, we'll have the privilege. I'm going to be with you guys on Sunday for that first game. It'll be my first competitive game of the season. It'll be my first game to watch competitively. It'll be a little bit colder than the temperature is today, unfortunately. But we look forward to it, because, as you say, Duffield will look sparkling on the day. Yeah, look forward to seeing you Sunday.
Thank you, mate.
So thanks to Hash at Duffield. Look forward to seeing you at the weekend. Hugh, Duffield, I think, are one of those up-and-coming clubs, aren't they, locally?
Yeah, I've got a vested interest in Duffield because my daughter plays cricket there. They've got an incredible girls section. I mentioned it before, but they've just got a fantastic girls section, and just a club that has got their act together. Really, really looking forward to seeing where they're going to go over the next 10, 15, 20 years. They're I think, going to become a powerhouse, and they've got ambitions. They want to win the ECB National Cup, don't they? I don't think it'll be this year, but it might not be too long.
Well, for those who are listening, we'll talk about it, I'm sure, next week, but they have got Martin Anderson signed as a pro from Derbyshire. Don't think he's going to get a game after his cup 200s that he scored last week. They've also got Lewis re-signed. Don't think he's going to get a game either. But somewhere down the line in this tournament, in the National Club Championship, there's going to be a Sunday that Derbyshire aren't playing. And if you can then go Lewis or Martin coming, that makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's a beautiful place to watch cricket, beautiful place to play cricket as well. So, if anybody wants to pop down and watch Duffield, they've normally got a bar open.
Absolutely, definitely. Let's have a quick gander through the rest of the draw and see what else we can pick out before we let everyone wander off and get ready for the weekend. One of the areas that I thought was really interesting was Group 14, where we have this crossover between East Anglia and Essex. And for us, that's something that we find quite fascinating, obviously, because there's all on the doorstep of each other. You could end up with Wanstead and Snaresbrook, got very close last year, playing against our friends at Sawston and Babraham, or Wanstead coming against Oundle Town and how strong they've been the last couple of years again. looking even further south there, you got the like of Minster and Gravesend from the Kent League. Minster been very active in the transfer market over the winter, but they could end up playing Preston Nomads, who could end up playing Tunbridge Wells, who are former winners of this competition. And that's the beauty now. There's so many former winners who want to get back to the top, don't they?
Yeah, there's plenty going on. We can look further ahead, can't we? At these sort of bigger games away from this first weekend. You've got Duffield up there, Moorlands. That one's jumped out at me. We've had a fair bit to do with Duffield, Nova Kelly. It's been on the show, a friend of the show, and obviously as a Duffield legend at Moorlands. Moorlands are a powerhouse there, so that one's really jumping out at me already. And then Barnard Castle going well, and ever since Brexit, I can't stop seeing Barnard Castle everywhere. So Clifton Lions is up there, that's up in Group 1. But there's so much. They're just jumping down at a few more groups. Bath versus South Wiltshire. Bath, obviously. Powerhouse down there. When did they last win it, Bath?
Good few years ago, but I think they've won it a couple of times as well. Yeah,
was it 2021? Did they win it? I can't remember. And then Midsummer Norton, St Cross, like you say, Bedminster. Ollie was on last year. Spent a winter over in Australia. Is he gonna Ollie Meadows? Is he gonna lead them to glory?
Is he going to train on?
Well, we'll see. We normally get the Australia bounce. It lasts one season, the Aussie bounce.
Yeah.
Maybe 3/4 of the season, then they get fed up playing cricket. But yeah, there's plenty there.
I think the other group I'd sort of point out, you've got to call a group of death, and my group of death is Group 2, where South Northumberland are at the top of the group and they get a bye to the first round proper. But you look at the other sides who are in that group: Richmondshire, Wakefield Thorns, Woodhouse Grange, Woodlands, Harrogate, Sheffield Collegiate versus Castleford as a preliminary round 2. That's possibly the game of preliminary round 2 already. Yeah. That's a heavyweight clash, isn't it?
I just the one thing that would be lovely is a bit of TV coverage, wouldn't it, or a bit more coverage. There's so much to go at here. All these sides have got pros, ex-pros, people names that people recognise playing for them. So what would it take to just get a bit more of eyes on it? There's so many TV channels. But obviously there's YouTube streams and so forth. But the cost of putting a stream together is not excessive. We need Bet365 to sponsor it, and then they can pay for the fees, don't we?
Well, let's put it out there. We know the final will be on YouTube. It always is. Let's put it out there. This starts the season, Sunday, September the 13th. Wormsley, one of the most beautiful cricket grounds in the country. Why not have it on BBC Three? Why not have it on Channel 4, whatever it's called, E4? Right? Why not? It ain't going to cost one of you TV companies a lot of money to do this and put some of the best amateur cricketers in the country on TV, and we can absolutely guarantee people will watch it, won't they?
Yeah, bargain hunt reruns only go so far. I do like a bit of cash in the attic, but it's probably gonna push that out in terms of ratings and cost them about the same. So come on,
give me a choice all day long, and I know which one I'm watching. It's without a shadow. I'll be during the season, if I'm not at a game at a National Club Championship. If I'm at home on a Sunday, I'll have the old vid grid on, so I'll have as many different YouTube streams on to see what's going on at the same time. It is genuinely the competition of competitions for club cricket, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, then maybe that's what we need to do. We need to set up on our website the old, the video wall, get all the games streamed in one place. I'm not sure the legalities of that, but we can work on that or avoid it.
If they're on YouTube, not an issue.
I'm not sure it is, but anyway.
Free to air, isn't it, YouTube? Surely it's got to be right. Anyway, it all starts this Sunday. It's preliminary round 1. It's a long way to September the 13th. That is a long bloody way, isn't it? But it's been over 200 days since we've been at a cricket match. So we're going to look forward to that. Yeah, fingers crossed for the weather at Duffield, but more importantly, fingers crossed for the 34 games that are around the country in preliminary round 1. I know our friend Aaron Campbell at the ECB was very happy that last year he got minimal problems with the draw and with the weather. Fingers crossed for that, because he does put wet weather days in there as well. But you just want to see this flow all the way through and get to, as you say, Hugh, round one, some major heavyweight clashes. Round two, they just get bigger and bigger. So it's, the sooner we get into it, the sooner we'll be talking Premier League, and the sooner we'll be talking about the big stuff that's coming in the following weekend. So look forward to it, and we'll catch up on the Premier League next week, mate.
Yeah, great. Look forward to it.
Cheers now.